Abelarde, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And beautiful downtown. I'm always happy to be back downtown. So this is a pleasure.
Thank you.
Really in the middle of of everything, an art studio. This is awesome.
It is. We're in downtown LA. We're in a law firm right now, in a partner office here at Quinn Emanuel. And so that's where this backdrop is. We're here in sunny downtown LA in the middle of December. So yeah, it's great.
All right. So where are you from originally and where are you located now?
I'm originally from the Philippines. I immigrated here when I was 14. I'm now located in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Larchmont Village.
All right. So 14, I mean, that's old enough, like, to come down here. Did you have family down here when you moved? Or was it...
So my mom was here. She immigrated here when I was 4.
Okay.
And the rest of the family kind of followed later on, 10 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Yeah. So were there any challenges for you when you first moved down here?
I mean, adjusting is always difficult,
Sure.
right? But I do feel like growing up, I was always exposed to like Disney Channel and like the American culture. And there's this weird thing in the Filipino culture where we kind of like deny ourselves of our own heritage, and we kind of like praise Americanness and like like we see ourselves as outsiders even in the Philippines,
really?
You know, and that's it's a cultural anomaly for like it's weird, you know, we kind of like we just hate ourselves. So, I mean, like. Like it's upsetting, you know, but it's true. And there's so many written things about it where like we deem our own crafts as less than an American craft, or like you know, like Levi's or like all that stuff. But yeah, so I grew up speaking English.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, it's bizarre to be in the Philippines and you're speaking English, but that's also like a privileged thing, I would say, because like it's a third world country, and I think my parents just wanted the best for me, and so they kind of wanted to indoctrinate me on the American culture because that's where it's at,
where you were headed,
where
anyways.
it's at, yeah.
You know, this might be a crazy thing to say, but you have no like discernible accent. Okay, I would have thought you lived here your entire life.
Totally, and that had to do with like all the things that I was consuming as a younger child. You know?
Okay. So would you say that maybe now that you're here and you're older, that you're maybe closer to, or maybe wanting to explore more the Filipino culture that you're in America? For sure.
And it's weird, right? Because it's like I grew up in that place, but I was just denied all of that. Yeah. It was almost like I was stuck at home all the time. They like wouldn't let me explore the outside world, and like very like sheltered in some ways, where it's like they just wanted to protect me.
Sure. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, just stay at home and just like watch TV. Or like go to school and then come back, but like don't like engage with like.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. It was like that, and so but now it's like I'm starting to go eat like so yesterday I went to this Filipino barbecue place and I had adobo, but they did it differently where they put like coconut milk in it, and I was like, well, this isn't right. This isn't traditional. This is wrong. And then I reached out to my Filipino friend who does like culinary like videos and stuff like that, and who has also shown in galleries and stuff. His name is Patrick. He was like, no, this is traditional. This is part of a very small community in the Philippines from Bicol, and they always put coconut milk in their adobo. And I was like, wow, like how do I not know any of this? Like this is my culture, you know? And it's kind of upsetting, and it's almost like I'm an outsider to my own culture, but it's important to like seek out these informations, you know, and like just be willing to be stupid and just be willing to like ask stupid questions so you can be more informed.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
No, you're right. Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're not embarrassed or
no.
And willing to.
Because I mean, like questions. This is kind of just like what's been dealt for me. You know, these are just the cards I've been dealt, true. And I just have to deal with it and kind of like do better.
Yeah,
you know, and that's.
Yeah, no, I can relate.
Yeah,
I can absolutely relate because you know, yeah, my dad sent me to school out of the cities where I lived. So I was telling you before, I get to high school, I'm the only black kid. So it's
Totally.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were younger, were you interested in art? Because I know this wasn't like your first career. This is...
No, definitely not. I mean, like growing up, I was, like I said, like I was stuck at home all the time. So I was like mostly reading a lot and like keeping myself busy and like drawing and like making puzzles or things like that. But like my entire family is kind of science and math based.
Okay.
So my dad's an electrical engineer, my mom's an accountant. And so, and I'm like second to the youngest out of 6. So then like my older siblings are also science based. Like most of them are engineers, HR, nurses, in the IT field.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's kind of just like expected for me to be, you know,
that was
same
the plan.
thing, same thing.
Okay.
And I've always been also inclined to do like science stuff.
Okay, so it wasn't like forced upon you.
No.
This was
I was
the plan. In the beginning.
highly inquisitive.
Okay.
And I think I still am, you know.
Yeah.
And I seek novelty information all the time. You know, I'm always reading and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like in high school when I moved here, in like maybe junior year of high school, I decided to do an internship at UCLA in their environmental engineering labs. Okay. And I was working with professors and like MA students. Yeah. Master's grad students, and we were like taking air samples from like cattle operations, downwind, upwind, you know, and like trying to find like where the bacteria, because there's like super bacteria there, you know, it's like because of like the antibiotics that they feed the cattle, you know, and it's like they're like in the enclosed space, and it's like how does the air pollute like the surrounding neighborhoods, you know, and what is the effect? It's that sort of thing, and I'm like writing scientific papers on it and stuff, and so I thought that's what I was going to do, and I loved that work, you know. But I don't think I was prepared to go to college, like because I was LAUSD. It's kind of like
Where'd you go to high school, if you don't mind me asking?
RFK. It's in it's in the building where Robert F. Kennedy died, the hotel, and they turned it into a school.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
When was that?
It's in Koreatown.
No. When I was a kid, it was the Ambassador Hotel, right? Yeah. Yes, it was just abandoned. Like,
it's that
forever. They turned that into a school?
They turned it into a school.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Even when oh gosh.
I know. Yeah.
It had just been gated up, like almost like my entire childhood. It was just sitting there. It's a school
now it's a school.
That's interesting.
You can go there, and it's a school now.
Wow.
And so, that's where I went. And it was it's new when I got there. Okay. And so they're like still trying to understand like how to get kids into college and like.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I don't think I was fully prepared to go to college. And so I majored in sociology when I went to UC Riverside because it had ology in it, thinking that it's science, but it's not.
So there was no one in your high school that, like, no counselors, no one to prepare you?
Well, there was, but it's like, it just wasn't a priority. They're like, oh, you're going to UC Riverside.
Oh, that's what mattered.
Go to UC Riverside. Yeah, but I was always, I did take art classes in high school too, just because it was an interest of mine, you know. Since I was a kid, I've always been drawing. And so, I dropped out of Riverside. Yeah. And then I became an accountant, and I was like...
Just became an accountant.
Well, like, you know, I moved back into my parents, and my mom was just like, well, be an accountant. Okay. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll try anything at this point, you know.
But it was easy. You're good with numbers. It wasn't a problem.
And I was really good at it too. Okay. You know, it was very natural for me. But it was kind of drab. Yeah. You know, and I would ask people like, so why are you here? Like, they're like, I love numbers. And I'm like, well, I don't. Yeah. This is wrong. Yeah. I shouldn't be here. Yeah. And it's like, I'm typing, I'm like doing the numbers, and I'm like drawing at the same time. So it's like, there's some disconnect with that, you know? Yeah. And so I went to a community college and went after this thing where I'm like taking drawing classes and stuff. And they were like, well, I think you should pursue this. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I will. Okay. And then I've just like been following the string. Okay. Wow. And it brought me here. Okay. I went to, transferred to Long Beach, got my bachelor's in fine arts in drawing and painting, and now I'm here.
Wow. Yeah. Was there a particular like professor once you get to community college, that really sort of,
Totally
inspired you and really told
Totally.
you to go for it. Yeah.
So there's Chris Warner, who is still a figure drawing professor who also teaches at Otis College of Design.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And he gave me a hard time. I would come in like maybe 5 minutes late with my coffee in my hand, just like casual. He's like, "What are you doing? You're not serious." Like, but like, it's not like he would treat everybody like this. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like he just saw something in me that like that I could take this seriously. You know that I should, and like it's possible for me to do other things besides this.
Yeah.
But also Alexandra Wiesenfeld. She teaches at LACC, and she was my painting professor. She was always very encouraging of me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was like hooking me up with, I don't know if you know Njideka Akunyili Crosby. She's a Nigerian painter.
Yeah.
And she's pretty huge. And I like went in there, and Alex connected me with her to like be her assistant, you know, like a painting assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was there with her, and I was like telling her like, "This is so amazing. I can't believe you're here.
Yeah.
You must be always busy." And she was like, "No." but I was like telling her like, "I want to be you. I just want to be you." And she's like, "Well, go to residencies."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right.
And so like ever since then, I'm just like, you know what? I'll just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't your first residency then?
No, this is my first residency.
Oh, this is your first one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got this fantastic
I know. I feel
space here.
very lucky to be here. Really.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So when did you graduate from CSU Long Beach?
I walked the stage in spring.
Oh, okay.
But I had like 2 classes left, Art 101 and the last class, so like capstone. And so then technically I did just graduate now.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
just
incredible.
because I finished all my units now.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, when I was going through your Instagram and your website and just looking at, all the different pieces, and Instagram for sure is good, because what I like to do, start at the bottom, and then you can sort of see like
the growth.
Yes, the growth. Yeah, evolution's not a good word. Growth is a good word, because the evolution kind of means it's evolved, but I don't think evolved is the right word. It's just, you've grown.
Yeah.
So is there a certain period, or maybe even a certain piece that you made where you thought, okay, like, this is different?
Like, I feel like each piece I make is kind of different in some ways, but I feel like my growth is incremental, where it's like you can't really tell the growth unless you look back.
Yeah.
Because like when like the daily thing where it's like, okay, now I'm gonna make this, and tomorrow I'm gonna make this. It's not noticeable. Yeah. It's really not.
Yeah. Okay. But if you look at everything,
yeah, totally. In hindsight, you're like, okay, wow, that's so different. But like, I feel like it's not much different, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's slow, and I feel like the biggest change for me is like going from this large size to the smaller multiple sizes. Okay. And that's a huge shift for me, and that's came from just me wanting to challenge myself and go out of my comfort zone.
Okay. So it's easier for you to paint the bigger pieces. Why is that?
Totally. I mean, like, I just feel like growing up, I played tennis a lot. Okay. And so this motion, this kind of thing, I mean, that is natural to me. Okay. And so like just throwing paint on the canvas like that or making this kind of motion is just great to me. And I love it. It just feels good. Mm-hmm. But working tiny, like working this way is just not. Okay. I mean, it's fun and all. Yeah. But it just doesn't speak to my natural way of making.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's why even like these little ones still have that like kind of energy where it's like bam,
Just on a smaller scale. Okay. All right. Well, some of these bigger pieces, as I'm going through everything, like I like to it's fine. like a feeling of like what the art means to me, right? Like what emotions does it make me feel? Okay. Right. And the things that like first came to mind is, I would say like intimate and intimate and almost private, if that makes sense. Yeah. Is there
Like it has a personal edge to it.
Personal. That's exactly what it is. Now, would you say that it's because some people make art and it's, they might have a concept for something.
Yeah.
But yours feels like it's more emotion than a concept, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. I think that's more present in the larger pieces.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the viewer to just be in my head, and
mm-hmm.
like kind of feel what it's like to be me,
mm-hmm.
And, but also like, I feel because like my concept is always about like technology and like
mm-hmm.
how that affects the psyche. And like
Sure.
the only way for me to express that is to kind of look inwardly to myself and
mm-hmm.
just show people how I feel. Cause like I can't talk about something that's universal or what everybody's feeling. Cause I don't know what everybody's feeling,
Uh-huh.
And it's like, if I kind of just like tap into that personal aspect, I could allow people to just relate to me and empathize.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And like these smaller ones, I feel like they are more conceptually based because they're they have to do with installation, and like, I assume like once they're installed in a gallery and it's like a lot of them in one space, it'll be overwhelming to the viewer.
Yeah.
And that's more concept, right? Instead of like putting you into my headspace. And so that more has to do with like information overload and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I just saw you show at Face A Gallery. Now, did you make those pieces specifically for the show, or did you have some already?
Well, some of them, a lot of them actually, I've just made for the residency.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of these, there's like a stack, you can't see it right now, but there's a stack of like wooden stretcher bars in the corner over here. And there was maybe like 150 of those at some point. Okay. And so I was just like, well, I have to go through them. Yeah. So I'm just like constantly making and like pushing things out. And a lot of them kind of don't really turn out well. And so like the ones that turn out well, I put in the gallery. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, the ones that are good, I put them in the gallery. Yeah. But like some of them I did specifically make for the show. Okay. The smaller loose paintings that are like in a line. Okay, sure, yeah. Those are kind of specifically for that. Yeah. The repetition and just like the angst. I feel like that's what I wanted to show. Yeah, those are great. Okay. All right, so you've shown like quite a bit, right? Yeah. Do you feel more pressure if it's a solo show as opposed to a group show? I feel like it's the opposite for me. Oh, okay. Because like if I'm doing a solo show, I feel like I have control over like how I'm shown. Like, I could just like choose whatever ones that I like and then like make a concept out of it. Yeah. But like if it's a group show, I feel like there's pressure for me to kind of belong in the group in some ways, or like not overpower everybody, or like be part. Like I have to make my work be part of the concept in some ways. Okay. And because I've also like started exhibitions independently. Mm-hmm. And when I do that, it's always like I'm aware of my bias because I'm starting it, right? And I'm like handling everything. Yeah. And if I'm gonna put like 5 pieces and everybody only gets 1, that's not a good look. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like I kind of just put one tiny one and just like be humble. Okay, I'm part of it, and like have everybody have their moment and stuff like that. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you were very big on helping artists, and so I want to talk about. Was it Nuance? Nuisance Project. Nuisance. I'm saying Nuance. Nuisance Project, yes. Yeah, it's because, what about Nuisance? I'm sorry. It's just there's so many things to talk about. All right, like, well, so first things first. I can talk about the name of it. I can talk about all right, well, so my initial question would be, so it's a place where emerging artists, do you find the artists or can they come to you? How does this work? Because you've had exhibition with him, and then you have the website, and it's got like the artists of the month, and you showcase different artists. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. First, I want to know, how did this start? Right. So what was the idea? So it started off during COVID, and I think it was in 2021, and I was in Vegas, and I was really missing my community, right? So like, because my community's in Long Beach, right? And I was living in Vegas for a while, maybe for 3 months or so, temporarily. And so I would go on Zoom meetings with this MFA student named Molly Champlin, and we would talk about technology stuff, right?
Okay.
Like, because we both kind of like deal with the same kind of issues in our paintings,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh yeah, we want to talk about like the screen and like all that stuff. And so she would like recommend me books, and I would read them within like 2 days, and like we'd have another Zoom meeting talking about the books that I read.
Okay.
And so it was like a constant thing for us because, you know, I didn't have school. It was like summer, you know, and I like wanted to continue to be stimulated. Yeah. And she was we were kind of like on the same level-ish, you know? And so then we were doing that for a while, and I brought up the idea of like, well, it's not that hard to make an exhibition. Yeah. You just need like artists and like put it out on the wall and that's it, you know? Like it shouldn't be that hard. And she was like, well, it's more than that, but sure, go ahead and try. Yeah. And she was like, well, we can look at like coffee shops and stuff like that. I was like, no. Because I'm like, I've done that before. Yeah. Like, it's not, like, I want to do justice to my artists, you know, because these are my friends. Yeah. Like, I want good for them. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it happened. Like, it started with a seed idea and someone just encouraging me to do it. Yeah, wow. You know, and I developed like spreadsheets where I'm like looking at all of the like spaces that are available, Pure Space or like, and like
I was accounting's coming in handy.
Totally. Like, and I'm like, well, how much am I supposed to charge my artists so I can pay for rent? Yeah. And like, what are the logistics, all that stuff. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it happened. And like, I knew the first artists that I brought in were my friends. Yeah. Because like, I just wanted to do it for them, you know? Because I'm like, well, no gallery's going to come knocking at our door. I'm like, we got to just do it ourselves, you know? And it's almost like I felt responsible to do it because I'm able to, you know, I have the capacity to do it. And, so yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But on our second exhibition, and we're doing it annually, the exhibitions. And so our second exhibition, I decided, well, maybe we should open it up to everybody. Yeah. So then we had a submissions thing, and like we kind of just like, well, just invite all your artists' friends and like try to submit stuff. And yeah.
Wow. Okay.
For sure. And it's just like slowly growing from there. You know?
Okay. All right.
For sure.
And so you already had, how many have you had? How many exhibitions have you had?
We've had 2, and so the third one is this coming year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in between that, I'm posting blog posts and like featured artists. Sort of.
Yeah. I want to talk about your blogs, because you're very, I mean, the writing is excellent. You know, it's very, very good. There was I was reading them last night, and there was one, I wrote it down here. Quiet Crisis of Waning Critical Value Judgments.
Oh, yes. Oh. Yes, that one.
All right. So I was very, very intrigued by that because it really got me to thinking, you know, because there really aren't, so as far as like this young, your generation of artists, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't find any sort of critic that's, you know, talking about, you know, emerging artists or even younger artists. It's sort of like an old school thing.
It is.
But, go ahead.
But it's also like a higher level artist sort of thing where like critics only care about like talking about work when it's more established, you know, because it's like, well, there's like a giant pool of emerging artists. Yeah. How do you know which ones are good to talk about, you know? And also, if you're talking about an emerging artist, you don't really get paid for that, you know? And like, what's in it for them? Nothing really, you know? And so it's kind of just like, critical analysis is kind of like no one really does it anymore. And it's unfortunate because it's so important for art to be critically analyzed. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and to be talked about.
Yeah, okay.
And that's kind of like my outlet. Yeah. I'm hoping that I could use it more as, you know, as that. Okay. Because I visit a lot of galleries and like, it's like, well, why not just write about it too? Yeah. That could be a thing for the future for sure.
Yeah, I saw you wrote something about, what was it? Jennifer Packer of the Mocha.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you see
3
that?
times. Yeah. Oh,
amazing. Yeah. I mean, I cried so many times. Yeah. And then I saw she had a retrospective at the Whitney in New York, and I saw that one too. Oh my gosh, she is so amazing. Yeah,
she really is.
So amazing. Yeah. And she's so young too. She's like in her 30s and like gosh, people need to know about this
Exactly.
stuff, you know?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fantastic showing there. A great exhibit. Is it still there?
No.
It's gone now.
It's gone.
I saw it enough. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Just can't get enough, huh?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, those are like sort of my go-tos. So like the MoCA, the Broad, as far as like big museums go.
Yeah.
When I
Did
was
you
a
see
kid-
the William Kentridge exhibition on
Yeah.
the road?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I try to go like a couple times a month if I can to each, and then like just a bunch of little galleries in between, you know, because that's where you really get to see the up and coming emerging guys, you know. But yeah, it's or LACMA. So that's what, when I was a kid, every weekend I was at LACMA with my dad. You know, it's funny because like I hated it. You know, when you're really little, you don't want to go museum all the time. But then
I don't want to be here.
The older you get, you know, the more you start to appreciate
it.
Yeah. So now I look back on those years like, oh my gosh, like I mean, it's probably the reason I'm here right now talking to you.
Because you grew up on it and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I used to have a LACMA membership, and there's this one time when they were like, oh yeah, we have all the Julie Moretus up. Let's do yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do yoga in the gallery where all the Julie Moretus live and we can talk about it. Yeah, they're talking about this stuff and while they're doing yoga. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
They do some fun stuff over there.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. They always had like Fridays, you know, they have like jazz and stuff like that. So I think I remember
it's a vibe.
When that started, like, oh gosh. Like I'm aging myself now.
You're exposing your age to the audience.
Well, I would go this. It's the 90s. Yeah.
Wow.
It's awesome.
I think it's still happening though.
Yeah, still going on. Yeah. It's very different now. I mean, it's a lot. It looks a lot nicer now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great museum. So do you, when you're not making art, creating and thinking about art and blogging and all of this, what do you do in your spare time?
Oh, interesting. Because like I almost have no spare time. But like when I do, I like to go to my local farmer's market and like grab some heirloom tomatoes and just like make a cute meal for myself, you know, a little self-care sort of thing. I also like to rollerblade.
Okay.
And so that's like a fun thing to do. Sometimes, well, like back in the day, I used to like drive out to Santa Monica at night, maybe at 8 p.m. with a buddy because I can't be alone, you know? And just like rollerblade at night. And it's just such a freeing experience to like the wind in your face and you're just like, the sea is right there, you know? It's just like, it's beautiful. Also, I like to play tennis. I try to keep that going, you know. I think last week I played tennis with my collector, so that's fun.
That's
cool. It's a fun thing, you know. But it's hard to find like people who are at the same level of you, like for tennis, because it's kind of like it's annoying to just like, and then you gotta run for it, and like, you don't know how to play. So
okay, so you're pretty good then.
I'm very good. I started when I was like 6, so it's like I can't. I'm rusty and all, but like you know.
Okay. All right.
I love to keep active.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did I have? Okay, so, I should have asked this before. When you decided, okay, I'm going to be an artist, what did your family say about that?
Oh, yeah. They, well, I feel like they didn't really, they're just like, whatever, like, go for it, sort of.
Really? Okay.
No, they weren't, like, supportive. They were just kind of like, well, whatever, you know? Like, I've done worse things, like dropped out of school, you know?
At least you're doing something. Yeah.
I mean, they've always said that it's just a hobby and you should probably, like, go for something else, you know? But they've always been very hands-off with my education. Like, when I went to UC Riverside, they were like, we're not going to help you with any of this.
Really?
They were like, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll bury myself in loans.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
But it happens, you know? And also you got to kind of just like tune out everything else that's just against you. I mean, like if you truly believe in yourself and you think that there's something here to pursue, go for it. Okay. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. Even if they think it should just be a hobby, it's fine.
Hold on, but what do they think about all of this? I mean, you got the residency, and I mean, they've got to be proud of that.
I mean, maybe. I don't, I mean, like, I've invited them over here. I guess they just haven't, like, at the time too, but they're always there when I have openings and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they always see, like, they're like, wow, like, your work is more expensive now.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, I gotta cop this before it starts to get super expensive, which, like, you know, they're very supportive. They're also my collectors,
okay.
you know?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
so it's nice, but I don't think they fully understand it, and that's okay. I think most people don't, you know, and it's fine.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's a very much personal thing. Totally. Okay. So usually, like, you're here creating. Does it ever get lonely?
It never gets lonely in here. Like, it's just kind of like, you know, it's like, it's always a fun time, I say. Like, sometimes I start like at 7 p.m. and I'm here until 4. Yeah. But then it's like, wait, how is it 4 already? I thought it was just like 9 p.m. an hour ago.
Time just goes,
Like, how did that happen? You know, and it's just, I'm kind of like in my head a lot. And so I don't feel lonely. Mm-hmm. But maybe in the future I might. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think when I do feel lonely, I like to keep up with my community. Mm-hmm. And bring people in as much as possible. Like, I have a lot of studio visits in here. Okay. And I think it's very important to have, you know, outsiders' perspectives on your work and just having eyes on it in general. Yeah. Also, like, being here in a law firm, it's like there's things going on. Yeah. Sometimes people are interested. They stop by and we have a conversation about the work, you know, and I think that's very important for people who are not in the arts field to feel like they can understand art.
Absolutely. Yeah. I 100% agree. It's important.
It is.
Artists, I think, are, I guess you could sort of put them in with, like, entertainers, or, it's going to sound bad, like the least acknowledged or the least respected, you know?
It's true.
And it's very important to society, because if you look back, like, thousands of years ago, even hundreds of years ago, like, what do people look at? Art. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now we have other things that are just more easily, like, absorbed. Sure. Right? Like, a video is just more easily absorbed than an art piece that you need, like, maybe hours to reflect on and try to understand. Mm-hmm.
Is that sort of the reasoning behind some of your pieces that... Like, there's one, I don't know the name of it, but I guess it's you taking a selfie of yourself. Is that maybe a reflection of, like, the things you were just saying, that technology is taking over people's lives? And I
mean, it's, for sure, definitely. I always, like, wonder about, like, how do we present ourselves and how do we perceive other people now that we're, like, in this social media thing where it's like people always have to look a certain way to be noticed and kind of like just like, how does that it makes us be like hold superficiality as more important than getting to know somebody deeper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's just very unfortunate to me, just because I love connecting with people. And that's kind of like why I make these paintings, is because I want people to empathize with me. Yeah. And, and even if no one ever sees this, if they just end up in a closet somewhere, I'm just happy to make it, just because I feel like it's better that it's on a canvas than just in here. Yeah. You know, just like in my mind stuck. Yeah. I
don't think that's going to happen. Going through yourself was making me very, very much emotional. Emotional, not in a bad way, but still, like...
It evokes something out of you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think I'm glad I caught you early before, you know... Before, you know, I when I still had a chance to get this interview. I think you're very special. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm excited for what's next. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen, really.
Really. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Okay, so how long do you see yourself staying out here?
In LA?
Yeah. Do you think you'd be going anywhere else?
Honestly, I freaking love LA. I love LA so much. Yeah. Like, I don't want to leave this place ever, if it permits. But I mean, I still think it's important to travel and explore the world, because you know you don't just make work and that's it. Like, you have to experience things first and take your experiences and put it on the canvas. You know, if you're kind of just doing one thing all your life and it's just boring, you know, then it just becomes a Jackson Pollock and it's all like kind of the same. You know, and it's like, you need to grow and the work needs to grow with you. You know?
Agreed.
And so even if I'm going to be residing here in LA for a long time, I assume I'm going to be here forever. I still feel like I'm going to be doing residencies elsewhere. I'm going to be out of the country every now and then. You know, I just love exploring things and experiencing the world.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Or if there was any advice you'd give to a young up-and-coming artist that you wish someone had given you, what would you tell them?
I would tell them an advice that I wish someone gave me when I was younger is to be tenacious, you know, and ignore the haters. You know, this is very difficult, but so necessary. You know, if something's eating you alive, you know, and it's like, you just got to do it. And everybody's kind of just like, don't do it. Do it anyways, you know, like see what happens. And if it doesn't turn out well, then that's okay. You know, you can always bounce back and like do your thing that you were doing before, you know, and like it's still worth exploring at least to give it a try.
That's so very good answer. Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask you about this. How did you come about being in the Tambayan show? How were you chosen to be in that? So there've been 2 shows so far, right? How did that come about?
The first show, I was already kind of, I know Edmund. He's the guy who kind of put everything together. He was in LACC while I was there, but we never had classes together. He kind of graduated before me a little bit. And so Alexandra Wiesenfeld, like, we were both very influenced by her, and she was always very encouraging to both of us. And so we've always followed each other for a while. And so then he knows the stuff that I'm working on. We were kind of just like, well, why not, you know? And so then, it's kind of like, well, the Tambayan thing, like, we want to keep it going as, like, a community of people that keep showing, you know? And we want to just build a bond with each other. Because we feel like there's not enough exposure for Filipino artists. Like, we do our thing, yes, but it's kind of just like subverted. And it's important to have all of these in one place and to see them all together because it just shows that, like, we're here, you know? You might not see us, but we're here, you know? And I love it, and I hope we can keep it going, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
you
for
joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It has been an honor. And maybe sometime in the future we can do this again.
Totally. Definitely.
All right. Thank you.